Well, this is the prestigious forum of the Society for Endangered and Lesser Known Languages, also called CEL, which was founded in the year 2011 by Professor Kavita Rastogi, with the aim to revitalize endangered and lesser known languages by bringing together like-minded people to document such languages, describe grammars, and prepare dictionaries and pedagogical materials for the native communities. In the last decade, the team CEL worked on Raji, Jad, Tharu, Dharma, and such other languages, and continues working on several other indigenous languages for their language preservation and documentation. And at the same time, CEL reaches larger community of dedicated researchers and professionals and start grants and scholarships that will help in this mission. Most of us here know that every year CEL organizes an international conference for endangered and lesser known languages, also called ELKL, in various universities and institutes across the country. In addition, CEL makes provision for the linguists and language activists to publish their work on lesser known languages in their biannual bilingual peer reviewed e-journal called Vak Manthan. CEL also encourages and trains dedicated researchers through workshop and online lectures and various other online presentations. This evening, CEL is conducting the second session of For CEL by CEL series, where CEL members present their ongoing research and experts who are also senior CEL members provide their suggestion and guidance. This evening, our presenter is Dr. Aribam, who is a faculty from Dr. Harsing Gaur University. And she will be presenting on an intriguing subject, linguistic diversity, dominance and marginality, a case study of Northeast India. This is particularly pertinent to scholars who are working on Northeast Indian languages, including me. And most of us here know that how marginalization is variously affected in parts of Northeast India. Our expert for this evening session is a well-reputed linguist, Professor Shailendra Kumar Singh, who is the head at the Department of Linguistics, Northeast Hill University, Shillong. He has authored and edited more than 20 books in the fields of language ecology, linguistic landscaping, translation, multilingualism, and language contact and typology. His major theories are linguistic world order, alternative sociolinguistics, and deep multilingualism. Welcome, Professor Singh, on the forum.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
And may I invite our presenter for this evening, Dr. Aribam. Over to you, ma'am.
Thank you so much, Dr. Vishakha Das. Thank you for the beautiful introduction. And thank you also, SEL Group, for giving me this opportunity to present my paper. I must say I'm an amateur in this field because my interest lies in language and research, but this is very new to me, and it's new to my department in my university here. As an anthropologist, I was just wanting to know the inputs by presenting what my thought is here. It's like I'm thinking out loud, something like that. So yeah, I have some slides. I would like to share that one today with you guys. Ma'am, shall I start?
You may start.
Okay. Thank you. The topic of my presentation today is linguistic diversity, dominance, and marginality, a case study of Northeast India. We all know that Northeast India is comprised of so many different communities, and all these communities have their own languages. There are many experts in the audience today, so I mean, many of you must have already known many things about the Northeastern India. Now, I would like to start from the introduction here. My topic says linguistic diversity. I would like to go into the meaning of this. Linguistic diversity refers to the variety and multiplicity of languages spoken and used by different individuals, communities, or regions within a particular geographical area or across the world. It encompasses the range of languages, dialects, and linguistic variations that exist among human populations. Linguistic diversity highlights the fact that languages differ in terms of vocabulary, grammar, pronunciation, and cultural nuances. It recognizes the language are not only means of communication, but also repositories of knowledge, identity, and cultural heritage for the communities that speak them. So, however, what happens is linguistic diversity faces numerous challenges. India itself, not only talking about Northeastern India, but if we talk about the entire India itself, we have so much of linguistic diversity. Therefore, it faces a lot of challenges we have been seeing time and again. What are the challenges we normally face here? So, including language endangerment. So, not only facing challenges in small terms, but it leads to sometimes linguistic endangerment, linguistic shift, and language loss due to factors such as globalization, urbanization, migration, and the dominance of major languages. Therefore, linguistic diversity and the marginalization of languages are interconnected phenomena. Marginalization refers to the social, economic, and political exclusion or devaluation of certain languages and their speakers within a broader linguistic landscape. It is the marginalization can occur at both individual and community levels. Therefore, this present paper tries to highlight the dynamic of linguistic dominance and marginalization amidst the hub of linguistic diversity in Northeast India. We have so much of language, so many languages spoken in Northeast India, and in this midst, what we have seen as I have been, when I'm growing up, and what we have been seeing even now is marginalization of different languages and the dominance, due to the dominance of certain other languages on the numerically not so preponderant group of the language or the people who are speaking it. So therefore, I would like to highlight the issues here. So first of all, let's all try to understand Northeast India. Northeast India, also known as Northeastern India or simply the Northeast, is a region in the easternmost part of India. It comprises of 8 states, namely Arunachal Pradesh, Assam, Manipur, Meghalaya, Mizoram, Nagaland, Sikkim, and Tripura. Geographically, the region is located in the northern part of the Indian subcontinent, bordered by Bhutan to the north, Myanmar to the east, and Bangladesh to the south and southwest. So Northeast India is known for its rich cultural and ethnic diversity, with numerous indigenous communities residing in the region. Each state has its own distinct identity, language, and cultural practices. This is a map of Northeast India. It lies in, which is connected with the bottleneck, and it's expounded here to the other parts of India. And now the linguistic characteristic of Northeast India. Notice India is known for its remarkable linguistic diversity with a multitude of languages spoken across the region. According to 1971 census, people of Notice India speak around 220 languages. These languages belong to various language families, including Tibeto-Burman, Austroasiatic, Indian, Indo-Aryan, Thai Kadai, and Dravidian, among others. Some of the well-known languages in the region include Assamese, Manipuri, Meitei Lon, Bodo, Khasi, Mizo, Lusai, Naga languages such as Ao, Angami, Lotha, Tangkhul, Rongmai, and Zemi, and Tripuri, Kokborok. In addition to these major languages, there are numerous smaller languages and dialects spoken by various ethnic communities in the region. The linguistic landscape of Northeast India is characterized by rich diversity and cultural heritage, with many languages being endangered or facing the risk of language shift due to various socio-cultural and political factors. At present, 12 languages from Northeast India are listed under endangered languages. Therefore, the linguistic diversity of Northeast India is characterized by the presence of, large number of languages belonging to different families. The region is a home to several major languages, which I have already mentioned. And this linguistic diversity, while rich and culturally significant, has also led to language dominance and marginalization within the region. Yes, the linguistic distribution in Northeast India, the map, I really try to make it big, but it's quite not very clear, I must say, but we would be seeing it in other slides, like the major communities. Why I felt this slide was important was because there are so many communities in every state. Even though the states are small, it is home for many communities. And as many communities we have, the language and dialects are also different. Therefore, here in Arunachal Pradesh, we have 26 major tribes and 100 sub-tribes. So they have different dialects which are spoken. As an example of, if we take an example of Manipur, then the Tangkhul language is spoken by the people, the Tangkhul Naga. However, if you move to one village to another village, the dialect itself changes, and sometimes it's so much changed that they do not know the language of each other, the dialects of each other, and they would start speaking either in Manipuri or in English. So this is what happens in every state. Therefore, in Arunachal Pradesh, we have seen 26 major tribes and 100 sub-tribes. And in Assam, there are 45 communities altogether, 14 tribes who live in plain and 15 hill tribes and 16 schedule caste. I'm supposed to write schedule caste. Now, here is in Manipur, there are 35 communities altogether. 33 are different tribes which come under the umbrella of Nagas and Kukis. And apart from that, there is Meitei and Meitei Pangals. Now, Meghalaya has 3 different communities. We have Garo, Khasi, and Jaintia. In Mizoram, there are 5 different tribes and 11 minor tribes, 5 major tribes and 11 minor tribes. And in Nagaland, there are 16 major tribes. In Sikkim, 3 major communities. And in Tripura, there are 19 major communities. All these different communities have their own language and dialect. Here, languages spoken in different states. Manipuri. In Manipur, the major language which is spoken, the lingua franca of the state is Meitei Lon. It's the official language of Manipur and is spoken by a majority of the population. However, there are many other dialects spoken in Manipur, which includes Naga, Naga, when I say Naga has many sub-tribes in it. So Tangkhul being one of the biggest one, then there is Rongmai Naga, um, and there is Anal, Moyon, Monsang, Maring, Lamkang, Tarao, Tangkhul. All these are under the Naga tribe. Then Thadao, Paite, Mar, Zhou. These are the tribes which come under Kuki. Kom. Kom is a tribe which decided not to be under any umbrella, any which who have decided not to be under Naga or Kuki. Then Aimol. So which are primarily spoken by various tribal communities. And in Nagaland, Nagamese, a Creole language is widely spoken as a lingua franca among different Naga tribes. So Nagamese is a mixture of Assamese and Hindi, I guess. So this mixture of this language is spoken in Nagaland, and it is used as a lingua franca in Nagaland, and in between the tribes, they say like Angami and Ao, if they have to communicate, they use this language for communicating between each other. So each Naga tribe has its own distinct language, such as Angami, Ao, Sema, Lotha, Chakesang. All these tribes, they have their own dialects. Then Arunachal Pradesh, sorry, Arunachal Pradesh. Arunachal Pradesh is known for its linguistic diversity with a large number of languages spoken by different indigenous communities. Major language families in the state include Tibeto-Burman language such as Adi, Naisi, Apatani, Galo, Monpa, etc., as well as languages from other families like Assamese, Hindi, etc. Now in Tripura, Bengali is the most widely spoken language in Tripura and serves as the official language of the state. Kokborok, an indigenous language spoken by the Tripuri community, is also prevalent there. Then in Meghalaya, there's Khasi, Garo, Jaintia are the major indigenous languages spoken by different tribal communities in Meghalaya. English is also widely spoken and serves as an important language for communication and administration. Now, in Mizoram, Mizo is the official language of Mizoram and is spoken by the majority of the population. Other dialects spoken there include Lusai, Mar, Mara, etc. And in Sikkim, Nepali is the most widely spoken language in Sikkim, with a significant majority of the population conversing in Nepali. It is also the official language of the state. Other language or dialect includes Bhutia, Lepcha, Tamang, and Limbu. So now I feel that we have seen the diversity we have, the rich diversity we have in Northeast India. Just to remember once more, I know everybody must be knowing this language difference between language and dialect. So language, when we say language, is a complex system of communication that is used by a particular community or a group of people. It encompasses a set of sounds, words, grammar, rules that enables individual to express and convey meaning. A language is typically associated with specific cultural, geographical, or ethnic community. It is characterized by mutual intelligibility and meaning that speakers of the same language can understand each other. However, dialect, on the other hand, is a variant form of a language that is spoken in particular region or by specific group within a larger language community. Dialects are characterized by variations in pronunciation, vocabulary, grammar, and idiomatic expressions. So the dynamics which plays between language and dialect, I mean, there is this language which are the major spoken major language which is used for communication, and this dialect which are used now only at home or in a small circle. Otherwise, when you come out of your home, you start using a different language in communicating with even your own community. These things are constantly happening, and we are seeing it in everyday life. Therefore, I felt the need to, bring in this. Now there is, yes, where have I gone? Sorry. Yes, here, the linguistic diversity and dominance and language marginalization through the anthropological lens. Since I'm from anthropology, I was thinking, let's see what anthropology has to say concerning linguistic diversity, dominance, and language marginalization. Here, linguistic relativity, it's a theory, it's an approach given by Sapir-Whorf hypothesis. This theory suggests that Edward Sapir suggested that the structure and content of language influence the way people perceive and think about the world. It implies that different languages encode and prioritize different aspects of reality, leading to diverse cultural perspectives and worldview. From this perspective, linguistic diversity is seen as essential for maintaining a diverse range of cognitive and cultural perspective. Now we move to language socialization. This theory focuses on how language is learned and acquired within social and cultural contexts. It highlights the role of social interactions and cultural norms in shaping language use and transmission. Language socialization theory emphasizes that language is not only a means of communication, but also a tool for cultural reproduction and social identity formation. It recognizes the significance of linguistic diversity in maintaining cultural traditions and social cohesion. Now, there is another theory which talks about hegemony and language dominance. Drawing from socio-political theories, anthropologists examine how dominant language and culture exert power and influence over marginalized or minority languages. Language dominance is often associated with unequal power relations and can result in the marginalization or suppression of minority languages. Hegemonic forces such as colonialism, globalization, and nation-building processes contribute to language dominance by favoring the use of dominant languages in institutions, media, and other domains, while marginalizing or stigmatizing minority languages. Now, another theory, which it says language endangerment and vitality. This theory focuses on the factors that contribute to language endangerment, decline, and potential extinction. Anthropologists examine linguistic, social, economic, and political factors that affect the vitality of languages. Language endangerment is often linked to socio-cultural changes, urbanization, migration, globalization, and language shift towards dominant languages. Anthropologists emphasize the importance of language revitalization efforts, community empowerment, and the recognition of linguistic rights to counter language endangerment. Now, the last one as we move, ethno-linguistic vitality theory. This theory proposes factors that contribute to the maintenance and vitality of languages within a community. It highlights variables such as demographic factors, intergenerational transmission, institutional support, and community attitudes towards the language. Ethno-linguistic vitality theory provides a framework for understanding the conditions under which language thrive or decline and guides efforts to support language revitalization and preservation. Now, in the backdrop of these theories, I would like to talk about how this linguistic diversity of Northeast India leads to language dominancy and marginalization. I have identified few points, and I would like to talk on these few points. The dominance of major languages. What happens in Northeast India is certain languages have acquired dominant status due to historical, social, or political factors. For example, languages like Assamese, Manipuri, and Bengali have emerged as major regional languages with wide usage and official recognition. The dominance of these languages can marginalize other languages within the region, as they may be given preferential or they may be or they are given preferential treatment in education, administration, media, and other domains. Now, number two, the language policies. What happens in the language policy is language policies pursued by governments can contribute to language dominance and marginalization. For instance, the adoption of a particular language as the official language or the medium of instruction in schools can favor speakers of that language while marginalizing speakers of the other languages. We have seen this many times in schools as a medium of instruction. For example, since I'm a Manipuri, I belong to Manipur, and I'm staying here in Sagar, and I'm teaching here. And most of the students here, they speak Hindi. And many of them do not know English and how to communicate in English. What happens is most of the higher books, the books are written in English, so the students face a lot of problems understanding what the words are, the terminologies, the academic terminologies. The same thing goes in Manipur. Since the medium of communication to the student, the medium of teaching to the student is Manipuri, Maitai, and many of the students are coming from different backgrounds. For example, in a classroom, there will be students who is from Tangkhul community, who is from Lamkang community, who's Paite, who's Maring. I mean, all these communities come together, and Maitais as well. So what happens is, since their mother tongue, the language they speak at home is their own dialect, they have problems in understanding. So these are the problems which they face. What happens, therefore, language policies that do not recognize or support the linguistic diversity of the region can perpetuate language dominance and marginalizations. Again, as an example, when a dominant language is chosen as a sole official language or the medium of instruction in school, it can marginalize minority languages and restrict access to education, employment, and other opportunities for speakers of those languages. Now, yes. Okay. Oh, what? Okay. This is supposed to be number 3. The number 3rd point is economic and social factors. Economic and social factors can also influence language dominance and marginalization. In Northeast India, there's often a correlation between language dominance and economic opportunities. Speakers of dominant language have better access to employment, education, and social mobility, while speakers of marginalized language may face barriers and discrimination. This can create an imbalance of power and resources, reinforcing the marginalization of certain languages and their speakers. What happens is even the news, the newspaper, the daily news which comes, which are telecast, all these things come in the dominant regional language. Therefore, people who are not used to that, and then many people do not know how to read basically these languages. So, I mean, they cannot get the full benefit of what is being given on even on the news and the employment news, for example, or any form of educational advertisement or everything. I mean, they are marginalized from that level too. And again, language shift and assimilation. Language shift occurs when speakers of one language gradually adopt another language, often due to social, economic, or political pressures. In Northeast India, there are instances of language shift where speakers of minority languages are increasingly using dominant languages in their daily lives, leading to the marginalization and decline of their native languages. This assimilation process can further reinforce language dominance and marginalization. Yes. Okay. Marginalization. Now, language hierarchy. Linguistic diversity can give rise to language hierarchies where certain languages are considered prestigious, dominant, or major languages, while others are marginalized or deemed inferior. This can lead to the marginalization of languages that are less widely spoken or have lower social status, limiting their use in formal domains, education, media, and public life. And ultimately, what happens is language loss and endangerment. Linguistic diversity is threatened by language loss and endangerment, which occur when languages cease to be spoken or when their use declines significantly. Factors such as globalization, urbanization, and migration can these are contributing to the marginalization and erosion of minority languages as speakers shift to more dominant language from for social and for economic and social reasons. There, finally, cultural preservation and identity. Languages are essential for preservation and transmission of cultural heritage and identity. Therefore, when language is marginalized, the associated cultural practices, traditions, and knowledge system may also face marginalization or erasure. This can have a profound impact on the affected community's sense of identity, well-being, and social cohesion. Now, yes, let's move to the next slide. I just thought of bringing in the three language policy of new education policy to 2020. And what's the situation in Northeast India? The National Education Policy 2020 proposed a three-language policy for schools across India, including the Northeast region. While the policy aims to promote multilingualism and enhance language skills, there are certain challenges and concerns specific to the implementations of the policy in the Northeast. When it comes to implementation of this policy, a place like Northeastern India, I feel they really face challenges. And these challenges are not easy to be dealt with. Sorry. Now, the first thing is linguistic diversity. We have already seen we have so much of linguistic diversity in Northeast India, and there are, it is having its own indigenous language and dialects. And implementing a uniform three-language policy may neglect the importance of preserving and promoting local languages. Many communities in the region have expressed concerns about the potential marginalization of their native languages under this policy. Inadequate resources. The region faces infrastructural and resource challenges, including a shortage of qualified teachers, textbooks, and teaching materials. Implementing a three-language policy requires additional resources and training for teachers to effectively teach multiple languages. Without sufficient resource, it becomes challenging to ensure quality language education across different languages. Now, limited proficiency in Hindi, major language or the official language. What happens here is Hindi is one of the three languages proposed in the policy. Therefore, alongside the mother tongue and English, however, Hindi is not widely spoken or understood in many parts of the Northeast India. Students and teachers are facing or may be facing difficulties in acquiring the acquired proficiency in Hindi, making it challenging to implement the policy effectively again. Socio-cultural implications. Okay. Sorry, I have moved from here to... Okay. The Northeast region has a unique socio-cultural identity and history. The imposition of a three-language policy that does not adequately reflect the linguistic and cultural diversity of the region may lead to feelings of alienation and sense of cultural imposition. It is crucial to consider the cultural sensitivities and aspirations of the local communities while implementing any language policy. And another one is preservation of indigenous languages. The northeastern east region is home to numerous indigenous languages that are at risk of extinction. The three language policy should prioritize the three language policy, yes, from prioritize preservation and promotion of this indigenous language rather than relegating them to a secondary status. Efforts should be made to integrate indigenous language into the curriculum and provide resource for their preservation and development. Now we move to the conclusion. In conclusion, what I would like to say is linguistic diversity, dominance, and marginality in Notice India highlights the complex dynamics surrounding language use and preservation in the region. The Notice is renowned for its remarkable linguistic diversity with numerous languages and dialects spoken by various communities. This linguistic richness reflects the cultural heritage and identity of the region's diverse ethnic groups. However, the dominance of certain languages, often associated with the majority of the politically influential communities, can lead to the marginalization and endangerment of indigenous languages and dialects. The process of language dominance can result from historical, social, economic, and political factors that influence language use, education, media representation, and access to resources. The linguistic marginalization poses challenges to the vitality and survival of endangered languages in the region. Indigenous languages, with their unique cultural knowledge and expressions, are at risk of being lost, potentially leading to the erosion of cultural diversity and identity. Efforts are being made to address these challenges and promote linguistic diversity and revitalization in Notice India. Language preservation initiatives, community-based language programs, documentation projects, and advocacy for linguistic rights play crucial roles in raising awareness, promoting intergenerational language transmission, and empowering marginalized communities. Safeguarding linguistic diversity in Notice India requires collaborative efforts from communities, scholars, policymakers, and society at large. By valuing and celebrating the richness of languages in the region, it is possible to foster an environment that respects linguistic rights, preserves cultural heritage, and strengthens the social fabric of Notice India. Thank you very much.
That's a wonderful presentation, Dr.
Yes.
Aribam.
Yes, ma'am.
The forum is open for discussion and questions. Any questions and suggestions from Professor Singh?
Thank you very much, Aribam. It's a very good presentation. And any topic which is from Northeast, it's very close to my heart because I'm in Northeast now, and it's a it's a very good weather, and it's raining also, and it's a very pleasant weather.
Yes.
Yeah. So you have nicely said almost everything which is needed, and it's in a very comprehensive way. So should we take question first and then I can give the concluding remark, or Vishakha, what should be the right?
Yeah, that's all right. Anything will do. If there are any questions, please.
Okay, so let me say something, and then if question comes in mind,
Okay.
then somebody can raise it. Okay.
Yes.
To begin with, Aribam, I would like to say one sentence, which is very close, and wherever I go, I try to, repeat this, and it goes like that: Gyan panth kirpan ke dhara parat khagesan hoye bara. Means, the way of knowledge, it's like two sides of swords, and one has to be very careful.
Yes.
I know, and it doesn't take time to fall. Therefore, why I'm trying to say this for particular reason, has Kavita ji joined or not yet as of now?
Yes,
Bisakha?
yes, she's here. Yeah, I think
Okay, fine.
yeah,
Yeah,
she's
fine. Yeah. So this is from Ramayana, and it says, "Gyan panth kirpan ke dhara, parat khages hoi na bara." I mean, even in the knowledge creation and generation, one has to be very careful. Your presentation was very beautiful, and we could learn many more things. But let me begin with uh, new education policy, because there was discussion on new education policy, and this is the right time to discuss about that. So I think the question which comes to my mind is that, are we discussing right thing at right place? Second question can also come, are we discussing right thing at wrong place, or are we discussing wrong thing at a right place, or are we discussing wrong thing at wrong place? But if you give me a chance, and if I have to speak very honestly, I will say that this is the right place. This is the right thing to discuss, a right place. I think this is the forum which has been created by Kavitaji Rasdogli and team. I really congratulate her. And today, Aribam talk fits into that. And I think it's a very good presentation. Now, why I'm saying this is the question, why I'm raising this question, because NEP clearly says that no language should be imposed on any students. Am I right? No language should be imposed on any student. I think that is the basic mantra of NEP. I think it depends upon us how do we take it. Now, uh, if you look at the NEP, the idea of NEP, what it says, NEP has three mantras. It says, India should be transformed as a global knowledge hub. Number one, India should be transformed as a global knowledge hub. Next, India should restore its dignity as a Vishwaguru, and India should become a superpower in the field of technology. These are the three basic mantras the NEP has, and in that way we can say that it clearly says no language should be imposed on any student. But of course it says that three language formula must be implemented. But it also says that medium of instruction, it clearly says the medium of instruction still or until grade 5 and up to 8 and beyond could be home language. Please listen carefully. It says very clearly the medium of instruction wherever possible until at least the grade 5 and also grade 8 and beyond should be home language, mother language, and local language. No country did it. No country does it. The question is, how do we define local language, home language, and mother tongue? So these are three basic terms used in NEP. And then we will come to the issues of endangerment in Northeast India. And then, but it clearly says that medium of instruction must be in home language, mother tongue, and local language. Therefore, the question of imposition of one language on the another has to be discussed very critically, and it has to be seen really it happens or not. Then the question which is, the question which is very important, the NEP talks about celebrating multilingualism. NEP talks about celebrating multilingualism, and it says, let's realize the power of language. NEP very clearly said everybody should realize the power of language, and therefore every student of this country should participate, and should know about the ethos of multilingualism, so and so forth. So as of now, if you look at the basic uh, you know characteristics of NEP, whether we like it or not is another issue, or there could be many demerits, that has to be debated. But this is the only language policy in India as of now which says that multilingualism and power of language has to be celebrated. So basically, as a student of linguistics, I take it in a very positive sense, and it has to be, mm, taken it uh, taken it in a very right direction. Now I think Aribam, if I look at her whole talk, basically she has covered almost everything, and I think this is the right place to think of a better collaboration, or in a very light, in a lighter sense, we can say that it seems to be in India for the first time happy marriage is taking place between students of anthropology and students of linguistics. So this is a welcome step, and I think the base she has taken those issues seems to be very interesting. So I really appreciate the way you have narrated it. But at the same time, when we talk about Northeast, I think we need to look at the linguistic habitat of Northeast India. Means how languages inhabit in this region. So you can clearly see there are four categories. The one could be of Indo-Aryan, another could be of Tipto-Burman, Austroasiatic in that within, the Mon Khmer, and Dravidian very less. So basically you have three categories, the Indo-Aryan, Tipto-Burman, and Austroasiatic. And each state, which you have also said that each state had its own way of, way of organizing languages. And but the something which is very interesting, and we should record that it's not the case that Assam is a dominant language in Assam. It could be. I mean, you have to take it, or Manipuri is a dominant language in Manipur, and Bengali is dominant language somewhere else. I think whenever we talk about the notion of dominance, one has to see who is dominating whom. And therefore, any researcher who is doing research in the field of linguistics has to be very neutral. Neutral in the sense, before concluding, researcher is not supposed to be biased, because scientific investigation doesn't require that thing. One has to present the fact, and there is a often saying that whatever you say, it has to be, because the research is basically a truth for the, it is a search for the truth, and truth cannot be searched unless somebody is neutral and free from all kind of bias. So if you look at the Northeast India in particular, what happens there? There are languages which have the capacity to connect people of the different groups. Take for example, what happens around Arunachal Pradesh, where Nisi happens to be the majority group, but the population is just 20%. Nisi happens to be the first majority group in Arunachal with 20%. Then the question is, a language which has just 20% population, how it can be called a majority language? But that is the reality, and that is the beauty of Arunachal Pradesh, where the first majority language, which happens to be Nisi, is the is the majority language. And the second language, which is the second majority group, as you have said, is Adi, and and the third majority group, it is Bengali, in fact, and the fourth is Nepali, and so forth. Look at why. But on top of that, what has happened is that Hindi has acquired a kind of lingua franca status, and that has evolved into. It's not that Hindi has been forced there. No, I mean, therefore, as a linguist, we must realize that the language sometime which is not imposed, it also it's not a forced choice, but something it evolves. So as it happens in other states also. Hindi is acquiring as additional language, alternative language for the contacting people of the different tribal groups. So the what I'm trying to say is that your presentation is very, very beautiful, but at the same time, what message is that? The question is, if in India, if languages are endangered, what we are supposed to do? And here what is the moral ethics as a researcher, and what we should do? The only thing that we can do is that to safeguard our language, strengthen our language, preserve our language at individual level, at the institutional level, at the community level, wherever possible. And you have rightly said that yes, we need the support. We need different kinds of support. It could be manpower support, institutional support, that is required. But the something which is very uh, NEP also says that this is something which is very, very important for that purpose. Local language, home language, and mother tongue must be enhanced. That means with it has to be enhanced, means proper work has to be done in terms of writing, in terms of creating literature. And who will do it? It is the native speaker who will do it. So all of us have huge responsibility wherever we are, whatever we language speak. I think we have to also come forward to create literature in our own language. And it's not only the problem with the languages of the Northeast India, it is also problem with the other languages of India. And the fact is that we Indians are slowly becoming English speaking Indians. हम अच्छा होता कि अरिवाम से हिंदी में बात कर लेते, बात भी समझ में आ जाती. But it's the fact that we are talking in English, which is not my language, not your language. So we have to grasp the reality and see how India can celebrate multilingualism and the power of language. I think now it's open for discussion. Those who would like to ask a question, Visakha, can you ask
Yes,
them
yes,
if there is a question?
yes. If there's any question, please ask. Well, I think that one solution can be, it is very important that we should the linguist should work on the orthography of many lesser known languages. There in Arunachal Pradesh particularly, many languages are unwritten. So this is also a creative problem, and how if it is not written down, things are getting lost. So this can be one important solution, that it is important to work on the orthography of the lesser known languages. Mosel, do you have any question? He is also from the Koibu community.
Yeah, that's a very important question. The point which Visakha has raised, uh, languages should be documented before they disappear. Am I right? This is what exactly. So this is needed. You know, for many languages do not have literature. I think they need literature. I think in order to create a kind of confidence among native speakers, you have to have literature. And literature doesn't mean simply simple grammar or the book of dictionary and so and so. I think even the creativity or the creative thinking has to be recorded. And the moment your own language, whatever language it is, has its creative thinking and it is recorded, certainly people will come and start reading. And that's the one way to preserve the language. Yeah.
Yes. In Arunachal Pradesh, there are a script of Thai Khamti, unique script. Okay, that's Likthai. Wanchos have script, and most lesser known languages have modified Roman script, but people are still working on it. But there are many other languages I've seen in West Kameng district. They do not have uh, any script at all. So that is a very major problem I've seen, because I work on the languages of Arunachal Pradesh, and I'm sure this is the case with many other places of Northeast India.
Yes, ma'am. I have also seen in Manipur, most of the languages in Manipur, the dialects which are spoken, they don't have script. So written documentation is like, it's mainly done in Roman script only. That therefore the older section of the people, they are not able to read or understand that. It's like everything is still orally transmitted. And the younger generation, they can understand English, but they are also forgetting their own dialect. They are not communicating even with their children in the own dialect. They are starting. Yes.
So we can also start, linguists should also start working on grammars with the community people. First orthography and then working on the grammars. These are very important steps. And we also think of working on the oral literature, to document the rich culture of those communities, those indigenous communities. I have also seen that one section of a particular community calls themselves as as by some other name, the dominant tribe's name, and the rest of the section, a smaller section, calls themselves as they're having the identity of the right identity. So I've seen that they change their identity. They call themselves, they connect themselves with the dominant tribe. So this kind of things I've come across in Arunachal Pradesh. This was a very interesting discussion, Dr. Aribam. I really liked it, and all the best for more work on this area. And we can also collaborate for languages of Northeast India. Thank you so much, Professor Singh. Thank you, viewers. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.